Introverted Thinking, a long-awaited video. Yeah, you want to play guitar? Go ahead. Babies. Okay, the part of your brain that says, I'm smart. Or rather, the part of your brain that likes to research and to study. It doesn't necessarily mean you're not smart if you don't use TI, but everybody uses it. Yes, you. I'm gonna step out of there. Distractions, man. I couldn't finish the first TI video. All right. Jeez, I know, right? Let's just get this one out of the way with, because obviously I'm not a fan of TI, because I'm not a TI user. In fact, I'm TI blind. Don't let the shirt fool you. ISFJ, yeah, you can get yours on the site. This one says, I will, what does it say? Defend you for you, says the ISFJ over there. Yeah, she made this. So go check out yours on the site. Okay, I fool people when I'm wearing these and I walk around. They think I'm somebody else. Okay, so introverted thinking. You may have heard that Carl Jung actually never mentioned the separation between introverted and extroverted thinking, making it 7 cognitive stacks, but that's super rare. A small group of people know about that. And so let's just, for the sake of continuity, continue as TI is. And that is the logical, research, reasoning, truth-seeking part of the brain, part of your personality. Every personality will be mentioned in this video. I'm gonna try to cram it all into the time slot we have. So none of this upper and lower stack stuff. We're all gonna cram this one in one video. So here we go. TI dominants are ISTP and INTP. These are the really smart people, the people who actually use this as that's their identity. They radiate intelligence. INTP is more on the abstract side, as I mentioned before, and ISTP is on the physical side, using SE as typically what they do. Now they're both smart. They can both flip in that regard because they both like math, solving problems, solving puzzles. I'm having a hard time focusing. What did you just break, son? Okay, they're smart. Okay, they're smart. If you haven't met an ISTP or an INTP, feel free to, I don't know, say hi, because they're not very social. They are actually FE, inferior, aspirational, which means they do have feelings. They have them very deep bottled down, and they like it when you give them attention, except for the ISTP. I still can't wrap my head around you guys, but I know you're there, and thanks for commenting and joining it. Shout out your Myers-Briggs in there. I love it when you guys are just like, you just send in your personality into the comments. I like to see who's there, and I'm always shocked when an ISTP just says something or just says ISTP, because they are more on the rare side or more on the quiet side. They're the hunters, they're the mechanics, the plumbers, the electricians, the tradespeople, the people who just like to kill things in nature. They're very good at what they do because it's a physical puzzle that they can use their TI to solve, like whatever it is, hunting and gathering and military. INTPs have a whole structure within that. They're really good at formulas, probably really good at coding. You know anybody who's an INTP who uses code, who does coding? There's a whole thing about AI right now, so I know some INTPs are a little bit shaken with that, but I digress. INTPs, I know one who's an author, I mentioned him before, so shout out to Alfred. The idea is that they like detail in an abstract way. INTPs move a little slower because there's so much going on, because their secondary functions NE. So they're seeing all these options and they're putting it through a TI like bottleneck thing. And an ISTP is doing the same thing with presence, with SE. But that's their secondary functions. We always spend more time on the top 2 personality types, so let's jump into the rest. We have 16 total, 8 cognitive stacks. We've covered so many so far, so let's jump at parents next. TI parents, those who are like, they feel like this need to know things. And this can, the ENTP and the ESTP, okay? So as a parent saying, hey, I know these things, we should do this, you should do this because this is a thing. The parental function can be a bit overwhelming for everybody. Everybody has a parental function. For example, like the ISFJs and INFJs get burned out for using FE too much. But in this regard, let me know ENTPs and ESTPs if TI eventually burns you out, like how FE burns out the IFJs. But as a parental function, the need to be in the know makes you kind of seek for it as, it's like how do I explain it? Maybe you guys can put in the comments something a little more TI generated as a parent, because you guys do know stuff. It's just based upon how you express it. So basically the ENTPs and ESTPs always know things, and they like to be like intelligent. They like to be like, I know things. ESTPs will use presence to poke that in front of you, being like, hey, you should do this, you should, they're very nudgy. ESTPs have that edge, and ENTPs are so scattered with all the things that they know that they just try to bottleneck it into like this, like, hey, did you know this? Did you know that? Like, it's everywhere. So they're very smart, except the idea of being smart is not what TI is. It's more about the need to know things, seeking for truth, which is ironically, I don't know any ESTPs or ENTPs who bind themselves to religion, for example. Every single one that I know personally was at some point or another like religious, but you know, that's more along the ENTP side. Is a whole different thing. The idea is like once you know something, you look for more, and when you have an NE in your stat, then you're seeking for more constantly, and it's insatiable. So ENFPs, ENTPs fall into that, but that's more NE with TI. Sorry, feeling a little scattered today, but TI child is next. IFJ types, ISFJ, INFJ. They are always seeking for knowledge and researching, and they never feel smart enough. This is why when you're researching personality types, why am I seeing IFJ types everywhere? And a lot of INFJs are actually ISFJs, and that is okay. In fact, that's my favorite personality type, obviously, today. And one of the biggest differences between the two, if the ISFJ feels frustrated, they will take over and dominate. The INFJ, if they feel frustrated, will ghost you. So that is how the INFJs versus ISFJs, stereotypically, I watched an anime called, I don't know, I'll put it in the comments, but there's an anime about a receptionist who works at a guild, and she gets overwhelmed, so she just takes over the project because all these guys can't defeat the boss. That's one of those stereotypical differences. But anyway, the TI child is always seeking for information, never feels smart enough. One of the biggest insults you can tell them is that they're stupid. That will hurt, because that's not nice to say, or they just don't like feeling stupid. So whether that's relational, like emotional between you, and what you're doing is making them feel hurt in a stupid way, like I feel stupid for asking you to do things, or you know, they've made these spreadsheets to help, but you're not doing them, which is very common because they're also TE tricksters. So the things that they're doing to help you, or they think are helping you, are not actually helping you. They're just kind of complicating the system because they love details so much. They like that information, that research so much that it's like overwhelming for anybody who is not them. That's how they also get twisted. So a TI child, it's adorable, but they're very good at that thing. They need to be told that they're smart, and they are. They are.
You love my spreadsheets.
I love your spreadsheets. It's just nobody actually look at the freaking wall over here. Do you guys really think I've looked at any of those?
You didn't read those?
Okay, so, all right. They're the kind of people who would take the font in their spreadsheet and shrink it down to just fit it all into one page if they can, but then they'll put 10 more pages on top of that. It's like it was going somewhere simple and understandable and usable, but it just got complicated. Anybody who's an IFJ who has an organized closet by alphabetical order, by color, by smell, like you organized your closet, yeah, you're probably an IFJ.
I'm gonna make you a spreadsheet on why spreadsheets are important.
I don't know if you heard what she said. Please don't make any more spreadsheets. You want more milk? She said she's gonna make me a spreadsheet on why spreadsheets are important. I'm sure you will. And don't ever say no thank you to that, because then they get really hurt, because then they can't use their TI. So let's move on to TI inferior aspirationals. We're running out of time. These are people who are FE dominant because they use their ability to help other people first. That's their primary function, ESFJ and ENFJ. Therefore, the thing that they seek the most is that feeling of intelligence, because they're helping people and they want to be usable to those people. Not a sense of being usable. I have not taken the time to explain this very well. Feel free to put in your comments, you guys. A lot of you guys do explain better than I can in the comments, so that's super helpful to people who are TI users who want those analytical answers. So I apologize for my expressive way of ESFPing this, but I digress. You can see how the ESFJ and ENFJ can seek for knowledge and intelligence and researching and information. They're not known for being intelligent. They're known for being warm and loving. And that is frankly the opposite in this regard, because TI is opposite of FE. Opposite letter, opposite letter. So, okay. Let's move on. TI coin flips, the ally nemesis people. These are people who are TE dominant. So if they do research and they do seek for information with their type of leadership that they do, because these two are typical leaders, ESTJ and ENTJ, then they're seen as superhuman. If they don't actually know what they're talking about, an ENTJ who gets up in front of the group and says, hey, we're gonna do this because of this, they were told some wrong information and they didn't back check those facts, that ENTJ is gonna look stupid. Shout out to any ENTJs who did not do their research, and it's, I don't know, do you guys know any unhealthy ENTJs who have done something like that? So it kind of makes them look really bad. So they end up having to backtrack a lot if that happens. ESTJs, not likely them to do that, but then again, every personality type can or cannot use this coin flip function, hence it's a coin flip. TI critics, INTJ, ISTJ, they are the ones who will make you feel stupid the most because they are critical of accuracy, logic, and truth. So it's very common for an ITJ to just be so numb and neutral, or you know, that's not true. So that can hurt anybody who's a feeler type. Moving on to the TI blind, which is me and ENFPs, ESFPs and ENFPs. You can probably tell by the way I'm explaining this, how I'm using it, you know, not so great as I thought I was. Thinking that you are taking the time to really understand a concept before making a video about it. Yeah. ESFPs are notorious for jumping the gun. ENFPs, not so much. They pride themselves in their knowledge, but to some people, the ENFP can just come across as like, sure, yeah, you know what you're talking about. But I've seen other ENFPs actually who do know what they're talking about. So that's why it's a trickster function. Just use your discernment when you're trying to understand an EFP type with their TI, because that, again, it can be very offensive if you don't understand how they're trying to express themselves. And finally, the TI demons, INFP, ISFP. When crap hits the fan, they get very logical as to why they're doing things. They try to explain themselves. This is when they're like, nah, this. And it just, whoa. Like it comes out loud and abrupt. Dang it, there's more I can share about that. But we're out of time. I love you guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you want more, let me know. I'll dedicate